Hello and welcome. How you guys doing out there? I'm Miss Day. You're a non-dairy fairy. We are here to make an apple pie. Well, not really. Apple turnovers. I love those things. Who doesn't like a good apple pie? Apple pie is just so good. I need some. So this is my first time making an apple turnover. And it is my first time doing it non-dairy, so no butter, no milk. Now, one thing I want to do is bake it with cake flour. Yes, cake flour. I'm covering over the name because they don't sponsor me. But yes, cake flour. Cake flour because I want it to be soft and I want it to be flaky. I'm going to make it into a nice flaky recipe anyway, but I wanted to see how good it would be with that. So we're gonna see how this turns out, and if this turns out really good, then boo, we could both have this recipe. Now if you want to use this processor, I'm looking over at mine, you can just use that. I'm just using a hand mixer. You can mix this by hand. You can do like I did in my last video and put on some gloves and get handsy with it. I pick and choose when I use it and when I don't, but I'm using it today. So make sure that you pause for the recipe. I have the dough and the apple filling up here. Now if you don't want to pause, you can absolutely look at it in the description. It'll be there. Use 1.33 cups of cake flour, half a teaspoon of baking soda, and we're going to mix it on up. After that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of water, 1 egg, and a tablespoon of white vinegar. After mixing all of that up, we're going to add that to our dry bowl that we've had in the beginning. Mix that on up. Now I'm about to get handsy with it. So right now, I am just mixing everything together by hand, kneading the dough the best way I can. And I like to use gloves because it's easy for it not to stick to my hand. But if you decide that you don't want to use gloves, you can just oil your hand down and just do what you got to do, and it shouldn't stick to your hand like that. So it's helpful. So now I'm going to let this dough sit for 1 whole hour. So I got my nice washed green Granny Smith apples, and we're about to make some magic. Shaved apples. Now we're about to add our diced up apples into a bowl and start mixing everything in. For the pie filling, we'll be using 1 egg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, and a 1/2 cup of white sugar and a 1/2 cup of brown sugar. I'm about to freshly squeeze my own lemon because fresh is best. I'm mixing these apples and they smell so freaking good. It's like I just want to eat them right now. It's funny, I didn't think about it till a friend of mine mentioned it. She was like, oh my god, the way you be cooking, I bet your house smells amazing. Funniest thing is, I don't even notice the smell of anything unless like I was to leave the house and come back in, then I smell it. Because when you're just in the thick of whatever you're making, you can't smell it. At least I can't smell it. And I can't lie, my things are good, but I appreciate it when someone else makes it for me because like, yay, I didn't put any work into it. It feels like it's a gift. So once my dough is finished setting, I'm going to take that time and roll it out, cut it out, and start placing my filling, and then start like, you know, putting it together like empanadas. Also, if you don't want to do dough, you can definitely buy it from the store. Like, I'm not associated with them, but you can buy the dough like Pillsbury. They do dough and stuff like that you can find in the freezer. Or you could do empanada discs, but try to do flour. And you'll find that in the freezer section, usually. I don't know where else you would find it. Me, I wanted to bake everything from scratch. I personally like to know what's going into my food, so I prefer to bake it. Now our dough has sat for 1 hour, and I'm going to use one of these little cutters to cut it open. Well, whoops, not cut open. I'm going to like press this into the dough like a cookie cutter and make them into like little empanada discs. I'm going to use some parchment paper to lay all the discs down. We call them empanada disc, dough, whatever. I'm just going to lay these discs down on here just so I can easily put them back up. You can use all-purpose flour for this. We got our discs. This still seems like something that I do not want to make it too thin because it's already pretty soft since I'm using the cake flour. So, hey, I'd say do your best judgment. Mine isn't super thin, but like it's like maybe this thick, like a little on the thick side, It's not like super thin. So, you know, while I'm doing this would be a really good time to preheat this oven. So I'm gonna do that now. You guys down below, let me know what apple turnover means to you. Now, does apple turnover means the shape where you cut it out into a square and you fold it over and it looks like a triangle, or are they just mini apple pies? So I'm gonna name this video as apple pie, little apple pies, or non-dairy apple pies. Maybe non-dairy apple pies is what I'm gonna go with. See, you was part of the whole thought process. Look at you. So I'm gonna take one disc and the other disc of dough, and I'm going to combine them like that with the apple pie filling in the middle, and I'm just gonna like seal it off like empanadas. And that's how you're gonna go about this. We're gonna oil up a pan, throw it in. Yeah, let's get that done now. So with this dough, you want, like, if you decide to do cake flour like I did, you want to be careful because it can easily separate and catch a hole. Like this one I have here, I was trying to fill it up and it started leaking from my hand. As you see, my hand is nice and saucy now, but this will not go to waste. Okay, here I am oiling my pan. Gotta make sure those pies aren't sticking. Now I got my trusty spatula and it's gonna lift these up and put them in this pan. I have my pans here, 3 each. They're gonna go in for about 20 minutes. I'm gonna get some egg wash just so I can like cover over the top of it with some egg wash so when it bakes it looks pretty. I recommend you do the egg wash before you put it in the oven. Taking the pies back out. So I have them out now. I'm gonna egg wash them really quick. I like how soft it is. I think I got what I wanted, but time will tell after I bake this. See if this is really what I wanted. Back in the oven these go. All right, my timer's up for 20 minutes. I'm gonna go and make some frosting. Woo! But I'm gonna do it with water. I'm just doing a basic little drizzling frosting, so it's gonna be water and confection sugar. Hopefully this is everything I've dreamed of when I start drizzling. You know when you go to the store and you see those pies and have like the hard frosting on the top, that's what I want to go for. So when I'm done with that, put this aside till the pies are done. So the pies are out of the oven. Of course they don't look beautiful. They, you know, I got a couple of Quasimodos going on there. I'll just cut the prettiest one. But me, I like to be a little impatient, so I'm gonna use my drizzle and I'm gonna drizzle it over. All right, maybe one of these, not all of these. I don't want it to just blah all over the place. Okay, the bottom, look at that. I mean, it looked like a pie, like pie bites. They do smell good. Can't wait to take my teeth into this. Before I start glazing and split open this apple pie and taste all the goodness, I want to say thank you very much for watching. Definitely like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Yeah, I'm back on the screen. So it looks, look at that. It's really soft. And appley, if that makes any sense. I like it. If you don't like your apples baked for that long, maybe do it a little less, but I love how the dough and everything came out. It's amazing. I'm gonna try this again with all-purpose flour and see what happens, but I do like the consistency, so if you want something that tastes good, soft, almost like a cookie, then maybe this is the best way to go. I like it. I mean, I might do this again for myself, or maybe for family that won't judge me because they look like a couple of Quasimodos, but you know, it's all good. It's all going to the same place. See you next time. For real this time.